Yo, podcasters, check it, we here to thrill. Talking 80s flicks, and ain't gonna drink our fill. Got our brews ice cold, turn the volume up. From Top Gun to Ghostbusters, never get enough. Collaborate and listen to our reminiscing. Back to the Future and the Goonies crew. Pop the top, sit back, got a beer or two. Rock those big hairstyles and neon light craze. 80s tunes in the mix, rocking all our days. Collaborate and listen to our reminiscing.
All right, what's up, everyone? Collaborate and Listen, episode 16. It's getting a little hard to remember. We have to fact check our episode numbers.
I'm starting to forget what movies we did.
Yeah, that's a good thing, right? That means we've been doing it for a little bit now. But yeah, if we, I know we did it episodes ago, right? I think we were like on 9 or so when we were
trying to figure out what order.
Yeah, 16 now. I think we could still do it. We won't.
Yeah,
we won't do it right now.
I have a lot of dead air.
But if you are a super fan, we're gonna call out super fans already. Try and see, maybe not even the order, but yeah, see if you can name off. I know we got a quick shout out to Cousin Keith again. We appreciated the last episode. If you didn't see that, go watch it. But we did spend a little bit of time kind of like going through the episodes again. It's fun to do. All right, well. What we got going on today? What's the movie?
So the movie for today, we'll give another shout out to Ashley, who is Haley's best friend.
Best friend, I heard. Yeah, cool.
So Ashley initially said that she was a fan, so we gave her a shout out, and she responded. So we let her pick this movie. Yep. Great pick.
Good one. Yep. I enjoyed it.
I didn't realize that Charlie never saw it.
I didn't realize that I didn't see it.
So good pick. And there's your shout out again, Ashley.
And you know what else Ashley did was she left a comment on our Spotify. And so I think
I responded to her.
Yes, you did. I think you gave it a little hard. I responded to. So working her way to super fan status. I mean, that's it's getting pretty close. So thank you, Ashley, for listening and for the good for the comments and for
collaborating
with us. So we'll get you to super fan status hopefully soon. All right. Speaking of that, I also want to give a shout out to my son Chase. We did this a couple episodes, I think, when we introduced Ashley's pick and we said, hey, if you no, not her pick, but when we said, that Ashley listens, and then she sent a text, said, I heard you guys talking. Well, we said the same thing. Well, if Chase hears it, then send me a text. And I finally got the text, and he said, I'm watching the episode now. And so what's up, Chase? I said I'd give you a shout out. We let Chase pick our next movie. So we'll announce that a little bit later. But again, you guys reach out, 808collaborate@gmail.com. We're taking the input, sharing those movies and having fun doing it. So
or text us.
You got a lot of people that are collaborators are our friends. So send us that information. So thank you, Chase, for listening, and we'll see how your choice is next time. We'll announce that later. All right, we got a few beers on tap. George brought this one, so we'll have him share a little bit about the beer.
I believe I picked it up from
Trader Joe's,
which I just love because you can separate the cans. You don't need to buy all four.
Yes, yeah, that is a good point. Like if you don't go to a bottle shop, I mean, Trader Joe's is perfect that you can pick and choose. Also, if you go to like the bigger bottle shops, what is it, Total Wine and stuff.
Yeah.
But down here, we're buying a lot of 4-packs and not complaining about doing 4-packs, but I guess I am. Maybe I am complaining a little.
That's good. Once you find the one that you like, then I don't mind buying all four.
It's not bad.
But if we're just tasting like how we are,
and especially if you want to do like, let's do this non-alcoholic one and compare it with this, or we're talking about comparing different Japanese. We'll get our Japanese beer episode. But when we do that, like, do we have to go buy 6-packs of everything, or
it looks like it has some sediment in there?
Unless
I didn't clean the cups good, but I'm pretty sure I did.
The cups look clean. All right, Did you say what kind of beer, like what it is? You just
No,
said it's from
I
Trader
just said
Joe's?
it's from Trader Joe's,
Okay,
but
let's-
it's a liquid kind. I was trying not to look at the.
yeah. Let's give
Yep.
it a taste then. Delicious.
Like liquid candy.
That is delicious. All right, I'm gonna get right to it on the quaffable scale. Keith sent an email, said I gave a 7.5 on one of the beers from one of the Navy beers, and he says I think that was your highest rating. Fact check. It's no longer, if that was the highest, it's not, because this is going over 7.5 already for me. I want to give room for improvement, but I'm easy over 7.5 for me. This is, I'm gonna go 8.5 from the start,
Yeah.
like right off.
I think since I changed my rating, I've been giving a lot of 8s. I think I'm going to give this an 8.5 too. This is really good.
Just look at the color on that. That's,
well, you can actually see the sediment in there too.
oh. All right, so
Good stuff.
yeah, very good. Guess on alcohol content. It's smooth too. I mean, it has the bitters come out after. It has like a back end on the bitter. Good hazy, sweet and smooth going down.
I'm going to guess 6.5.
Yeah, it doesn't feel bigger than 6.5. I'm gonna go even 6.2. Let's go with the in between there.
Okay.
Liquid candy, hazy.
I have a feeling we're both
IPA.
wrong and it's going to be high.
Holy smokes! It is. So Tarantula Hill Brewing Company put some liquid candy together and 7.5%.
Oh,
Good job. Super hopped up OC hazy single IPA. Mosaic, Citra, and Motueka hops.
good stuff.
All right. Well, we got some beer in the system. Before we get to Big Trouble in Little China, got a couple of fact checks. And this is actually from a couple episodes ago. I got some from the Top Gun episode that we didn't do. You remember talking about them wearing gloves in the volleyball scene?
I think, yeah, were we talking about it during the podcast or was it after?
I
remember we were talking about it.
I think it was during the pod.
Okay.
Well, I wrote it down in
Okay.
my notes
Yeah.
when I was listening. So they wore gloves to protect their hands because the sand was hot. So
Okay.
it's not typically what you would wear for volleyball, but maybe if you are a pilot, having your hands not damaged from the hot sand. But I don't think it had anything to do with like them being pilots, and when pilots play volleyball in the sand that they all wear gloves. But at least for the filming, that's what I got when I did the fact check. At least for the filming, that the sand was hot, and so they kind of wore it out of necessity. But it said unintentionally added to the 80s cool guy aesthetic. I guess cool guys wore gloves.
Gloves with the cutoff fingers.
With cutoff
Yeah.
fingers. It's like for
Like a DJ.
But that was one. And then the other one that we talked about for Top Gun was did Miles Teller, Rooster, sing Great Balls of Fire in that opening scene? We said I think it was, and we weren't sure, so just double check that, and he did. It was a good homage to his father, and yeah, he did sing Great Balls of Fire.
I think, especially, I mean, when I rewatched that episode, I mean, when we did that rewatch of Top Gun, and Miles Teller could have been his son. I mean, when I saw it, there was like they showed a profile view of Anthony Edwards, and I could see it.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. Good casting.
Great casting on that. Okay. You said you did some fact checks, but on
It was really just on Glenn Medeiros. There was a couple. I was trying to look back. I didn't write anything down, so I got more of it from listening to the podcast. And we had a few things that we had brought up. But again, I was listening to it in my car, so I didn't write it down. I definitely remembered looking up about Glenn Medeiros. So the whole thing about that he didn't actually write it. It was a cover. Original artist was George Benson. And yeah, it's just really weird because I could have swore that was the big thing when he won Brown Bags, was that there was an original song, maybe like original the that he changed a couple
Not
notes
much.
to
Yeah,
because if you listen to the George Benson version, it sounds almost exactly like.
Yeah. Shall we listen to the George Benson version? So let's do a quick.
Do we have both, or do we have just the George?
No, just the George Benson.
Just keep in mind, it's not very different.
So here.
If you should need me, you don't have to change a thing. I love you just the way you are.
I mean, he did a cover.
So come with me and share the view. I'll help you see forever.
And if anything, this one just has more soul.
But so he sang that in high school for Brown Bags to Stardom. So for those of you that are not familiar with Brown Bags to Stardom, it's a talent show. It's a talent contest that they put together in Hawaii. And he won that year. And when he won, he sang that song. That's what he did on Brown Bags to Stardom, is he sang. And then they loved it. I don't know, like, I forget who it was, but somebody in Hawaii heard that and said, we got to record that. And you got to think the George Benson version wasn't that old. It was probably from the 80s too.
It was like about a year or two before Glenn Medeiros came out with it.
So Glenn Medeiros made it super popular. Probably George Benson wasn't mad at it. I'm sure his records sold from it.
More,
So we'll talk more Glenn Medeiros a little bit later. I have some other things, but I know that was one of the fact checks was that he sang that song and it was a cover. And I never knew that before. I just always thought that was his song. But he covered it in the talent show, which most people in talent shows are not singing originals. They're usually covering.
Yeah, but I mean, Brown Bags to Stardom was really big in the 80s. And I mean, he might have been the first big name to come out of it. So back then, when it first started, Brown Bags was like you had within your school, and you had to win. If you won, if you were the most talented,
and it's a talent show, so it's not all singers, right?
Okay,
talent
show. But in he had to win for his school, and then they go to one that's like it was like for the state. So then he's competing against other schools' winners. Yeah.
So the state tournament for talent, talent show. That's it.
But I think they had Kapena
was on there.
Naleo Pilimahana.
Yeah. So for those of you not from Hawaii,
if you're from Hawaii, you know those names. But if you're not from Hawaii, they're pretty big names.
And Naleo Pilimahana might be I don't know how. I know that they're super popular in Hawaii. In fact, my college roommate Tommy, another Tommy, is married to Lehua now, and so we got like this connection to Naleo Pilimahana. And so anyway, that's
I'm gonna fact check that because I'm kind of curious how far their reach goes. I think Kapena was more local, but I believe Naleo Pilimahana actually performed at bigger venues in the mainland.
I know we thought about booking them for our wedding, and that was not affordable. So they were already very popular when I got married in 2000. But good to they still are singing together, and they have solo things. I know, like I said, Lehua, we've gone to watch her sing at different places, and does a lot of solo things and does with other people. But as a group, they're still all doing things. If you're not familiar, go to the Honolulu airport, probably listen to the music playing, and you're bound to hear a Naleo Pili Mihana song.
Yeah.
All right. I have another fact check was we talked about the big melee. So you remember why we're talking about the big melee?
We're talking about our favorite top concerts or our favorite concerts. So I said mine was the Beastie Boys, but I
went to
the Big Melee. Yeah,
Beastie Boy. Yeah, so we're talking about Beastie Boys and that you actually went to see them. And so I did a little research on the Big Melee. So it doesn't happen anymore, but it was an annual rock concert festival held during the 1990s, mainly at Kualoa Ranch, which you said was in that area. Mosh the pits and all that. And so it did start in 1993, and the last official show, I think, was 1999, and they may have tried something in 2004. But I did ask, when was the Beastie Boys there? What year do you think it was? I think I asked.
I was thinking it was probably like somewhere in the early 90s.
According to not an official search, but according to AI, it was 1994. And see if any of these, what other groups do you remember any of the other groups?
No, what I remember is the beer garden ran out of beer, and that was like the biggest riot I ever saw. So my friend Kimo was actually at the, we were at the entrance to the beer garden, and they were blocking people, but they didn't explain why they were stopping everybody. So everyone's looking at people drinking. What we didn't know is they ran out. And the crowd basically just lifted us and pushed everybody through, pushed through the security, and then we found out they were out of beer.
Well, if it was in 1994, you were at least 21 years old, so that's a good.
Yeah,
we'll go with that. And so you were 21, 1994. Beastie Boys, Smashing Pumpkins was there in 1994. A group called L7, The Breeders, and Wool. I'm not too familiar with the last, but I do know Beastie Boys and Smashing Pumpkins. But yeah, this was a big concert where some of the other groups that have been there in other years, Green Day, No Doubt, Rage Against the Machine, Blink 182, Cypress Hill, Foo Fighters, a lot of big names. I mean, this was the big melee.
Wait, was that, so those are the melee? So the one that
just over the years,
the one that I went to with the Beastie Boys wasn't a melee. It was at the stables at Turtle Bay, which is close, but.
And you sure but it wasn't a big melee? Because they said they weren't all at Kualoa.
They might have been at one of the melees, but the one that was at, oh yeah, I guess it could have been.
Just not at Kualoa Ranch. Yeah. So, well, it does line out that it says not all were at Kualoa Ranch. They said a lot. Most were, and so maybe it was a big melee. I did ask about the big melee. Like they did say in 1994, and it was related to the big melee, but AI has been wrong many times before. I gotta fact check the fact checks.
Well, in the 90s, there was a promotion company called Golden Voice, and Golden Voice used to bring down a lot of big name bands. Early 90s, ska was big. And then like the melees, it was all Golden Voice, and they were affiliated. Like Jellies was big at the time, so Jellies was promoting heavily through Golden Voice was promoting through Jellies. And
around the same time, Hawaiian music, Hawaiian reggae was popular here, and they had Hawaiian jams. You remember Hawaiian jams?
Yeah,
I think it was Aloha Tower. Speaking of Kapena was one of the groups always at the Hawaiian jams. But yeah, some of there was a really good local Hawaiian reggae scene here.
Hawaii Kane was probably like one of my favorites.
Yeah. Brother Walter.
Yeah.
So this is a fact again, maybe interesting fact for me is my mom actually opened a store called the Reggae Connection, and it was by Jellies in that Pearl. I don't know what shopping center is that, the one that's
across
from Pro Ridge Shopping Center. It's not West Ridges on that side. It's
Pro Kai.
Is it Pro Kai? Yeah, maybe.
Pro Kai is the one that has
the old
that used to be 24-hour fitness or
that's I mean that's the one that it was. Red Wing Shoes. There's the 24-hour fitness was in the back. Yeah. McDonald's is on the side.
Because Jelly's was at the other one where Goodwill was in the back.
So there was there was also Tower Records was I'm thinking of Tower. There was a Tower Records was there. There was a Tower Records. But anyway, yeah, my mom. Now I'm thinking, am I even in the right place? Maybe it wasn't even there. But anyway, forget the location. The fact is that she owned the store based off of the popularity of Hawaiian music. My mom opened up a reggae works clothing, so Hawaiian reggae. Pretty popular. It's like a cool, fun time.
Yeah,
hanging out there. And so the Hawaiian jams and going to the concerts. I know my mom then were heavy into that scene, and it was fun. It's kind of fun hanging out. We were, in college around that time, and good stuff. All right. So normally we drink a beer during the fact check, and then we get to the movie with another beer. So we have a new technique.
We're gonna try and cleanse
George has a cup of water. Yep. We're gonna rinse out the cans while
dumping it into one of my wife's Tupperware, but she doesn't listen to the podcast, so she'll never know.
She's not here. Yeah. She's out traveling.
She's in Korea right now, so
that's horrible. Your daughter still listens. She talks to your wife.
Yeah, Haley, don't rat me out.
Okay. Here's one that I brought. This is another great Notion beer. I love we talk about the designs on it. Before we talk too much about it, I'm gonna put this. I'm also gonna pour this near the microphone.
That sound. Anytime I'm listening to our podcast in my car, my mouth just waters whenever I hear that.
I know, and I normally do it when I'm driving to work. It's not good. I'm like, no, gotta wait the whole day. Okay, I'm not gonna look at what kind of beer this is. I know it's not a hazy IPA. It is. There's some kind of IPAs or ales. Let's try and guess. Let's take a. So I know that it's not a hazy IPA. That's all I know. Right now, I just got pretzel. All right.
I like it.
Yeah, different. So very different from the hazy, but still
no sediment.
Yeah, definitely
not. Really cloudy.
Here, I put the other one up closer. You can see through it a little bit. It's a different color, a little darker, but you can see through a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I want to say it tastes like a pale ale, right? It doesn't have that super hoppy.
Yeah, definitely not bitter.
Probably some kind of a pale ale. And alcohol content probably. Well, the other one was 7.5. We'll see what they do with this one.
I'm going to say quaffable 8. And I think the alcohol content ABV is probably like around 6.5.
Yeah, I'll go 8 as well. And I think even lighter. I hate to go 5.5. Like 5s is pretty low, but I think it's like in the 5s. It's that smooth for me. All right, this is a hoppy ale. So I guess that's a pale, it's an ale. I don't know if there's a difference between a pale ale and a hoppy ale, but this is a hoppy ale. and it's 5.9%. So, yeah, pretty good.
Right in the middle of our picks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
What is a hoppy ale?
And I did look up, so a fact check, I did look up tropical ale. Because I know one of the knee deep drinks was a tropical ale. And it basically just said it's a tropical IPA. Basically said it's an IPA that has like fruity background. And
It was good. I just had the
That
can before you got here. That
Oh,
Keith
that-
left.
that was
that was the one I
that
had.
was the pregame. Okay. Well, any more fact checks you got?
Nope. I really only had the Glen Medeiros.
All right. Well, that's it for me. That means it is now time for Be Kind.
Rewind.
All right. Plot overview. So, again, Big Trouble in Little China. Truck driver Jack Burton, played by Kurt Russell, gets pulled into a mystical battle in San Francisco's Chinatown when his friend Wang Chi's fiance, Miao Yin, is kidnapped by a supernatural sorcerer named Lo Pan. Jack, Wang, and a ragtag group of allies must navigate a hidden world of magic, martial arts, and ancient curses to rescue her and stop Lo Pan's evil plans. It's a genre-bending mix of action, fantasy, comedy, and kung fu chaos. Speaking of chaos, I had like pretzels all flying out of my mouth and trying to control that. I need to take another sip and I should have cleansed that. Oh my goodness.
Sediment. Creating your own sediment.
If you're watching this, rewind that, zoom into that. You might see, speaking of sediment, yeah, there was some stuff flying out of my mouth.
The April meteor shower.
I hope not, but I was trying to keep it in. Okay, main cast. So Kurt Russell played Jack Burton, the wisecracking, self-assured trucker who's in way over his head. Dennis Dunn playing Wang Chi, Jack's friend and skilled martial artist on a mission to save his fiancée. Kim Cattrall was Gracie Law, fast-talking lawyer who gets caught up in the action. James Hong was David Lo Pan, the centuries-old sorcerer villain. Victor Wong was Egg Shen, a mystical tour bus driver and Lo Pan's magical rival. Kate Burton was played by Kate Burton was Margot Litzenberger, who was a journalist investigating Chinatown secrets. And Donald Lee, L.I., played Eddie Lee, L.E.E., Wang's friend and restaurant worker. And yeah, that was the main cast. What do you want to start with?
I guess we could just start with Kurt Russell.
Yeah, get right in. Yeah, Kurt Russell.
So what I just found out, and what we'll find out more throughout this podcast, is there's a lot of movies that Charlie hasn't seen.
So we compared to you or compared to the general public?
For sure, yeah. So one of my favorite Kurt Russell characters was Snake Plissken, and that's from the Escape from New York and Escape from LA movies. And Charlie was just telling me that he never saw those. So I was like, they're on the list.
They did come up on the checks because the same director who directed this movie also directed.
Yeah, John Carpenter. Yeah,
John Carpenter also directed those movies, and there was one more that he directed that Kurt Russell was in as well.
Oh,
I'll find it. It's in my notes here somewhere. We'll pull that up. But yeah, there was 4 total, I think, or 4 at least that came out. There's one more.
Yeah, so Kurt Russell, I mean, he was doing movies from when he was younger. So this definitely was not a breakout role for him.
Did you know that he was on Disney?
Yeah. The computer wore tennis shoes or something like that. And
I didn't even know.
That was like
I didn't even know.
70s. So yeah, so he's been around for a while. But Overboard with Goldie Hawn, that's like rare for me to say, but I know my wife loves this movie. What else was he in?
We did talk about Goldie Hawn from
Goldie Hawn, yeah.
Wildcats,
Right.
who was pregnant with their son during the film when she was filming Wildcats. And anyway, that was just a little.
Which is interesting that his name is Wyatt. And
Correct.
another one of my favorite characters that he played was in Tombstone. He played Wyatt Earp.
You think that was because that was, I mean, that was, the son was born in like 86.
Yeah,
or
that
so,
was before.
So.
I mean,
it
he
was
might
way
have already
before,
had
a premonition.
Yeah, could be.
Probably not. But but I'm sure when he got that, he was like, "Oh, my kid's name is Wyatt. I have to.
Yeah.
Like, this is you. This is all full circle for me." You know, so with Kurt Russell, the movie opens with Kurt Russell driving his truck, which is called
the Pork Chop
Express. And he was on the CB radio and he's talking to people. And I just thought,
who's listening?
No, I thought he's he's a podcast. Like he was podcasting before podcasting was a thing.
Yep, that's true. Yep.
And who's listening? I don't know, maybe it's like collaborate and listen. Yeah. He had a few listeners, but they were, maybe because they weren't responding back to him. Yeah. It was like a podcast. He was just
ranting.
Yeah, he was sharing, this is what's going on, and the Pork Chop Express, and we're doing this. And as soon as I saw that, I made that connection. I was like, he's a podcaster before podcasting was podcasting. And that was cool. And then at the end, right, he gets back on and he's like, whenever he's on the road, he's like, when's the next episode? He's like, as soon as I'm on the road. So that was fun. The Pork Chop Express podcast.
Kim Cattrall.
So she is probably now most famous for being on
Sex and the City. So more people now would know her from Sex and the City, but in the 80s, she was pretty big too. So
I never realized that.
She was in Porky's.
I have to rewatch Porky. Okay, so that is a movie or a series.
In Porky's, she was the PE teacher, the one that screams, and they're like up in the gym.
That everybody hears.
Yeah. So everybody hears it, and the coach is just like cracking up.
Right. Okay.
So she's in Porky's. Mannequin.
I did see that she's in Mannequin.
She was the mannequin.
She was the mannequin. Yeah. I did not. I mean, I never made that connection watching Sex and the City, and I mean, that's a movie that I did see, but
I watched Mannequin many times too. So, and then she was also in Police Academy. That's just in the 80s. She was in more. But
those
are three big movies.
Yeah. And I mean, Sex and the City. My wife is a big Sex and the City fan, so I mean, it's playing in my house a lot. We got like the DVDs and stuff, and so I never made those connections, and I watched all of those. I've seen all those shows, except for this one. But yeah, I liked her character. I mean, that's it. You can kind of see similarities between her Sex and the City character, like this fast talking, like real sarcastic. Not so much just like obsessed with sex and stuff, but she was, I enjoyed her character. And I was most surprised when I was reading through about Mannequin. I was like, that's the same. Then I looked it up and I'm like, oh yeah, that is her. This is I'll go to this one because she's not one of the main characters, but Kate Burton, who played, Margot, the friend. When I saw her, I thought, man, she looks like the other girl from Sex and the City, the one who's like she's always having trouble with her relationships. I forget what her name is, but out of all the friends, she's like
Cynthia Nixon. Got Cynthia Nixon. There's four of them, right?
Right. So we not the main one.
Mm-hmm.
And then not the brunette, so she's the other blonde one. Kind of looks like this. Kind of looks like this Kate Burton, and I mean, kind of like this Margot character. And so I looked up. I was like, "Is that her?" No. And then when I found out that who Kate Burton is, do you know anything else that she's from? So she is on Grey's Anatomy. She's the mom from Grey's Anatomy. And then wait, let me see. There was something else that she career highlights. She was something else, but when I looked it up and it's like, oh, the mom from Grey's Anatomy, and I was like, oh, then I couldn't stop seeing that. Oh, that's just that's just the Grey's Anatomy mom. She was Dr. Ellis Gray. She was also in Scandal. She was the Vice President Sally Langston in Scandal, and then in West Wing, she also played vice president. Did I say vice principal? Vice president. And
That's
she's
a lot of TV roles she played.
Yeah, and she is a daughter of Richard Burton.
Oh,
Kate Burton. But yeah, most known for me anyway, by Dr. Ellis Gray. Also says she's an acclaimed theater actress and Tony nominee. So she's like, she can sing and act. Well, I don't know if she can sing, but she's a stage actor as well.
interesting.
Okay. James Hong, Lopan. This guy his voice is iconic. As soon
Dude,
as
is everywhere.
as soon as you hear that, you're like, okay, I know that voice. Like
Kung Fu Panda.
Kung Fu Panda is for sure
Yep.
like one of the
He's the
you
dad.
just know.
Yep.
What was the other?
That guy's 96. He made 96 this year, and he's still going. So they
Looked about 96 as Lopan.
yeah.
His character Lopan was already looking up there. So
Speaking of going full circle, I mean, he's.
I don't doubt that he's
But-
96.
Was it the most recent movie was Everything Everywhere All at Once? That was like a big thing, right? Was it like 2 years ago, a year ago? And I think he won an award for that.
Oh wow. Yeah, for me, Kung Fu Panda, his voice stood out. Yeah, so you don't even need to like just as a voice actor when you can recognize people's voices. But it was Mulan too, right? He was also
Mulan.
from Mulan. He's very, very recognizable.
So I was saying, when I looked him up, it said he appeared in over 600 films, TV shows, and video games.
That's,
I mean,
that'll
part of
get
it
you
is
to know
probably with his voice,
Yeah.
But he was in Tango and Cash, which may or may not be on our list also.
That'll be on the list.
He was on Revenge of the Nerds too.
What did he do in Revenge?
He
of
was
Nerds too?
the one that taught him how to
Booger.
Yeah,
Booger.
Booger's Booger's mentor.
That's right. That's
Then one of my favorite roles for him, he was in Balls of Fury. It was like a underground ping pong tournament. Said he was also in Golden Child, but I'm not sure exactly who he was in Golden Child. But
yeah, even Egg Shen
was
in Gold.
So
Yeah,
Egg
they
Shen-
were both.
Egg Chen. So Victor Wong, who played Egg Chen, and again, we brought his name up. Was it Lethal Weapon?
Yeah.
And I was saying that he drove a bus that said the Egg Foo Young. It is.
Yeah.
It said Egg Foo Young
Yeah.
Tours. So Egg Chen or Victor Wong was also in Golden Child and a movie that Haley recommended, but it's on our back burner because it's 1990, was Tremors.
But yeah, just his look. So
Yeah.
not so much his voice, but his voice as well, but his look, right? And his sort of like his eye. And when you see him, you're like, I recognize this guy. Yeah, he was the Golden Child. We gotta watch that. Because there's so like it keeps getting referenced for different things.
Yeah. Someone else is in here that we've mentioned a few times before. It's my favorite Al Kabong Leong, who was also in Die Hard and Lethal Weapon.
That's right.
He was in one of the gangs. Feel like we're so professional now.
I know, it's like it's a little
cleansing the glass.
All right. This is
There you go, Bunny with a Chainsaw. This is a hazy IPA.
Bunny with a chainsaw. That sounds awesome.
There's the bunny with the chainsaw. So again, one of the things that Keith mentioned, how he's a sucker for marketing.
For marketing, that's a good one.
Yeah. These.
All right. Well, as you're pouring that, I mean, that is a lot of the characters, quotes or scenes. I wanted to talk a little bit about the special effects. This movie, I mean, it was very much about the supernatural, and they brought in some. I mean, things are floating around. It was supposed to be very advanced with the special effects, and so the person or the company or the person affiliated with the company did special effects from Star Wars, Ghostbusters. There were a few, but when I heard Ghostbusters, I said, "This is all over Ghostbusters." When they had that one, it was basically the eyes for Lopan, right?
Yeah.
He could see, and that thing. I'm looking at that thing, and I immediately thought Ghostbusters. Like that is
Slimer.
a character. That's Slimer.
So John Carpenter carried a lot of weight. The guy was pumping out some big movies and movies that had some pretty good special effects already, like The Thing. What else did Halloween was more of a slasher film, but
yeah, John Carpenter a lot. So what I read or what I saw, right? A lot of more like slasher kind of, not spooky, but yeah, I guess horror films.
Yeah, but it's funny because he did the soundtrack, or he did like a lot of the musical accompaniment for the movie, and so not only did he direct it, but he did a lot of the music, and as I'm watching it, I can hear like Halloween tones in the background. Yeah,
he did a good job, and that's so talented. Like you're directing, you're doing the music, like you're in charge of so much of the success for the movie. The movie wasn't a big success. It flopped a little in the box office. I think they spent a lot more money than they actually made at the box office. It became a cult classic, and I don't know how much money they made after. But yeah, they weren't sure how to market it, and it was a little too out there. I mean, like the concept of like, here's the girl, save the girl, here's the bad guy, these are the good guys, and the misfit, and that was all really like solid. And then they bring in, this guy has to get a girl with green eyes.
Yep.
And now there's two girls with green eyes, and I'm gonna marry them both, and then it's gonna break this spell. And then I think it got a little. It was also the 80s, so
yeah, when they made Buckaroo Banzai.
Wait, there was something I put about Buckaroo Banzai.
So I think we talked about it when we did the Buckaroo Banzai episode, that there was some rumors that this Big Trouble in Little China was in the same universe and potentially was a spin-off from Buckaroo Banzai.
That's
so
right.
I think we talked
That's
about
right.
it a little.
We did. But but yeah, for this movie anyway, so not related to that. If I see the relationship to Buckaroo Banzai, I'll bring it back. But this movie was initially written. Oh, there's the connection. Okay, it was initially written as an 1880s Western with, I think, the supernatural and all that. And so it was originally written for that. And then the guy who he rewrote it. So then they hired the guy to rewrite it. The guy who rewrote this movie is the director of Buckaroo Banzai. So that's the connection.
That's the connection, yeah.
So he actually, the writer of Big Trouble in Little China rewrote the whole script. So they changed it from this 1880s Western with this thing going on to what we saw, made it a little bit more modern, and brought it into something that was a little bit more realistic, and just kind of rewrote everything. And yeah, he was the director of Buckaroo Banzai. So anyway, that was the connection. We were looking for the connection, and it jumped out at us. Now, all right, we've had a couple of sips, and we haven't talked about this beer. And I will say from the start, this has got to be a big beer. It tastes
like it's a
double.
Yeah. I didn't even look.
Yeah. So you did say hazy. I mean,
that's all I saw was it said
and then here we'll
hazy IPA.
So it looks, I mean, I think the first one was a little lighter, more cloudy. This one looks almost like the Great Notion one. But tastes, the first one was 7.5. This one tastes bigger than, I mean, it tastes bigger than the first one, but probably similar. Quaffable, I'm going a little like it's good. It tastes big.
It's like a different kind of hazy. It's almost like cotton candy.
It does. It has something that it makes it taste like really big for me. And so on the quaffable scale, I'm going down a little, but it's still very good. I'll still go with 7. Still very, very quaffable, but there's something that just making it taste really big. Maybe because it is. We're gonna look at it and be like, oh shit, yeah, it's really big.
I'm gonna go 7.5 quaffable and 7.5.
You got it, yeah.
ABV.
The other one was 7.5.
And I might change the quaffable if the ABV is higher than that.
I gotta at least, I mean, 8. What did we say gets into double category? This might, I say 8. This might get into it. You didn't look at it where it said like double, like we don't know. It might.
All
I
saw was it said hazy IPA.
So still,
or hazy India Pale Ale.
Okay.
So what are you saying?
I said 8.
Wow, you're pretty close. 8.2.
That's what it.
Oh, it does say double. Well, I mean,
not on the.
I might have been blocking it. I just saw that, but it's right above. I wasn't looking at that.
Okay. Well, we're getting good at this, George.
I think I was trying to block the
16 episodes in.
Yeah,
we're getting good.
His cuteness will cut you to pieces. Bunny with a chainsaw.
There it is. Taisha, enjoy that. We haven't mentioned Taisha on this one. I haven't seen Taisha for a little bit. We're gonna have to schedule. Taisha, you listen to this one, send out the text. Let's set up the next get together. That was good. That's it's a double.
Yeah.
It tastes okay. So there it is. I feel good about that.
To sense it, I mean.
So yeah, it's good. It tastes like a double. It's a very good double. I might even change my quaffable rating up to be like as a double IPA. So it's really good. I'm not gonna change it. But
yeah, I'll go. That's the
we're gonna keep
7.5, 7.5.
Yeah, but it's still good. Okay. Well, as far as this movie goes, I don't have anything else about the movie. You got anything else you want to talk about with this movie? Favorite scenes? What are we? Yeah, we didn't talk any like.
There's a few. It's all in the reflexes. That's got to be
That came up twice. Yeah, like
at least twice. I think he mentioned it in his first monologue when he was talking in his truck.
Yeah, okay, that's right.
Then he said it again
when
he caught the bottle.
Yeah.
And then he said it again when the knife got thrown at him.
The big one, the payoff.
Yeah.
It's all in the reflexes.
They're trying to think, what was I thinking when I saw this movie when it was in the theaters? And there was a lot of martial arts like martial arts was a big thing. Growing up, I used to watch a lot of kung fu movies. My dad would take me to like Empress Theater and like those theaters in Chinatown that just played like kung fu movies. They had like Shaw Brothers, and it's like a lot of my younger childhood.
Even when you were younger, you were seeing more movies than, I was. Yeah, I never been there to watch like kung fu movies or anything downtown like that.
Yep, Shaw Brothers was big. Then who else? I mean, like the martial arts was a big part of the movie, but I think just even rewatching it almost seemed like it was forced. Like the speed of the comeback of just their banter between each other. I mean, like, and the whole Gracie Law. So Kim Cattrall's character, Gracie Law, it almost seemed like her and Kurt Russell being in the movie, they were there to explain things that were going on, because they said things that, like, who really cares what they're talking about? But they're like David Lopan, he's like a myth to these people.
Give them the little explanation.
So they have like all of these. It's like their character was put in to explain the.
It's almost like Deadpool. If you could talk to the camera, they could have been like, "This is like
breaking the fourth barrier."
They could have breaking the wall, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, especially during the rewatch, that's kind of like what I felt like. I was like, oh, they're really like just over explaining everything. And I mean, like, especially for me, because I have seen it so many times, I didn't need the explanation, so that kind of stood out to me. Like, why are they explaining so much?
Right.
But I can see why they needed to, because it wasn't being explained anywhere else. The magic potion that they drank. I'm curious, do Chinese people really have that many hells? Like,
when they were drinking that magic potion, I was also thinking about, was there ever well, I don't know, the movie wasn't that popular, but like to turn that into, like Funky Cold Medina and then these other things at the bars, like, oh, we made this Titanic drink, Jack and Rose or something. Did they make something from this movie? When they were drinking, I was just thinking like, oh, that could be they didn't really have a name for it, like, but yeah, just them drinking it made me think of that could have been a drink in the bars. Maybe we'll ask our bartender friends to think about a drink and make that for us. We'll drink the Big Trouble in Little China drinks.
We'll drink the Jack Burton.
The Jack Burton instead of the Mind Erasers.
No more Mind Erasers.
All right. Well,
what is this? Our third beer?
This is our third. So normally we
have a quiz.
It's about here, and then we get to the quiz. So okay, that's all I got for Big Trouble in Little China. We don't give the movies a rating like we like a quaffable scale. Maybe And let us know if you guys are listening. You think that's a good idea. We can kind of rate movies, give it a movie rating. We'll think about what we call that, not the quaffable scale. But one of the other things we were talking about this earlier is that we do the movies, and the initial intent when we did the pilot and when we were talking about doing collaborate and listen, we wanted to bring in also 80s music, and we've done 80s music with quizzes. We've shared some different things, but we don't really have a segment for it. Like collaborate and listen, we know we're going to talk about the characters, we're going to talk about favorite scenes, good things about that, but we don't really have anything about the music. And so we wanted to spend some time. We didn't talk about it before. We just said let's talk about it on the podcast and see if we can come up with what we do for maybe be a little bit more consistent with our music. And if you're listening, 808collaborate@gmail.com. Again, let us know maybe something that you think we should do or could do as a music segment.
Yeah, because we've almost tried to force it in there a few times. And I think initially when we started, we thought that the movies would produce some kind of like conversation about music, and it turned out that a lot of them didn't.
Yeah.
So.
And some even movies like Flashdance only had a couple of really popular songs, and then Top Gun had a big soundtrack with like 2 popular songs. When we get into movies like Breakin', there's a lot of songs from that. If you wanted to go Dirty Dancing, a lot of songs. And so we can, when we get to movies that have more songs, we can definitely talk more about the songs. But I know that whenever I'm listening to my Pandora or just kind of listening to music, I'll put on a certain genre and I'll start listening like, oh man, I love this song. And I love this song. And I was like, man, we got to talk about these songs on the podcast, but I don't know how to bring it up to just be like, okay, we're going to talk about
Debbie Deb
and Lookout Weekend and remember this song. And so I was thinking, one of the things I was thinking is we pick an artist. Mm-hmm. So maybe it is something like Debbie Deb. And just like the movie, we go into who's Debbie Deb? Like, what's her history? Like, how did she get into music? Is that like what's the whole group? Like, what's Debbie Deb's story? And like, where are they now? So it might be a group or a person, and then we just go deeper into that. Might even be, I was also thinking about like taking a song or maybe even one of their songs and then going a little bit deeper. I know that I listen to songs and I have no idea what these songs are about. It's just words. And then I hear, did you know that this song is about this? And I was like, no, I didn't know any of that.
I just like the tune.
It's catchy. We were listening. We were at home just this past weekend. My sister-in-law and my niece, they were in town for a volleyball tournament, and we're hanging out. And then we're listening. We had YouTube on TV. I actually put in. Well, my wife's mom said, "Hey, let's listen to this," and then it ended up playing over. But the Pumped Up Kicks, that song Pumped Up Kicks, da, 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 da. But it's a song about school shooting, and they say like watch out for my bullet, and it got banned in the US. And it's a catchy song. And so we looked up a little bit about the history of it, and they wanted to bring awareness to school violence, and they ended up getting banned because it felt like they were promoting school violence and promoting like people that come in and shoot. And it's like, no, it wasn't it was supposed to be here. We're going to put it in a catchy tune, make people listen to it. And then when you hear it, there's like this message. And so I just thought like, wow, the meaning behind the song, and it goes deeper where most people just don't even think about it. and every song has a meaning, and every song has the lyrics that a lot of times we just know the chorus, and we kind of figure out what we think we know about the song based on the chorus. Last week we did 80s hair bands, and the first song
if you guys missed it, Cousin Keith destroyed me.
that guy is a savant with and he's been to like every concert
apparently.
Apparently, if you're an 80s hair band, you made your money off of Cousin Keith because he attended your concert. But the first song that we did was Pour Some Sugar on Me by Def Leppard. I love Def Leppard. I like their music. Pour Some Sugar on Me. Not sure what it's about. Not sure what the lyrics are. Like that. It's so that was a horrible impersonation of the lyrics for that song.
Red light, yellow light, green light, go.
That's it.
I don't know.
That's it. Something. I don't know.
Yeah. People dancing on a pole. I don't know. That's
for most of the songs that we went through, it came back in reference. Oh, they play this in the strip clubs. Yeah. All right, George. Let's get a rinse there. Heading down to our final beer of the episode. This is another Great Notion beer. Okay. I did not see. This one's called Subharmonics. That's all I'm going to look at. It is a Great Notion beer. Again, we're gonna pour it. Oh, take a listen. I can just by looking at it, just by hearing it, it sounds delicious.
Yep. The harmonics
of this is coming strong. All right, you guys can take a look. We won't not looking. All right. Take a look. I think you can probably see the alcohol content, see what it is. You guys get a sneak peek. We're going to guess. Let me get a quick pretzel.
I was eating pretzels the whole time you were talking.
And show this. Very hazy.
Ooh.
Oh, it smells so good. This is going high on the quaffable and the alcohol.
I'm going to go 8.5 quaffable.
I was thinking 8.5 alcohol.
8. I'm going to say 8 alcohol.
8. Okay. This is big. The other one tasted big. This one tastes even a little bit bigger. And it's I mean, I definitely have the good fruity, hazy. I'm not a big double IPA fan. I'm pretty sure this is a double. Gotta be 8.5%, and we'll give it a 8.5 quaffable.
Yep.
8.5, 8.5.
I'll stick with my 8 and 8. But I think you're right. I think it is a double.
It's bigger.
It tastes,
bigger than the other one even. Subharmonics, it says right here. Oh, so you guys saw it already. Here's the backside of the can. Hazy double IPA, DIPA, the DIPA.
It's a DIPA.
Hazy double India Pale Ale, 1 pint, 8.1%. I said 8.5. I went a little higher. Huh? Come on, Great Notion, step it up. Yeah, good. I do like the Great Notion. All of these have good artwork today. Okay, so
Lucy's getting.
So what do we think? We pick. Now we can still do quizzes, and we still might throw some of that stuff in.
That'd be good to throw in some either a song or a musician.
Yeah, if there's a song that is, and so we can even announce it. We'll start announcing it on the previous episode for other people to then go listen to that artist. Well, shall we pick one for? Let's pick an artist.
Let's do Vanilla Ice.
Collaborate and listen. Yeah,
we'll do Ice Ice Baby.
Okay,
so our next episode,
Vanilla Ice got a good. I mean, there's story. There's things to talk about.
There's definitely things to talk about with that.
So that's a good one. So our
namesake. So
yeah. And then we didn't talk about what the movie
Chase's pick.
He picked Karate Kid. The original Karate Kid. And if you are not following the Karate Kid franchise, there were a ton of them. And
number 6 is coming out.
And they have a new one. We mentioned this before too. So bringing the original Karate Kid, then you had the Karate Kid with
Jackie Chan,
Jaden Smith. And then you also, if you haven't been watching
the
Cobra
series,
Kai, if you watch Karate Kid and you haven't watched Cobra Kai, you have to. Like, it's just nostalgic and it's corny, but it brings back all the memories of Karate Kid. This new 2025 Karate Kid Legends, I think it's called, brings all of that together. It's like the Spideyverse. It's like that Spider-Man one where they bring everybody together.
The multiverse.
The multiverse. It's bringing the original. So it is Ralph Macchio and
Jackie Chan. Yeah.
Jackie Chan together, but they're also bringing in Cobra Kai. And Cobra Kai is the original. Just where they are. And I believe I read that it takes place 3 years after Cobra Kai ends is where the movie starts. So in the multiverse, that's where it starts. So looking forward to. I mean, I will watch
watching the trailer.
I will watch the 2025 Karate Kid. But for our next Collaborate and Listen, original Karate Kid, which has some good music.
Yep.
They don't have Vanilla Ice in it.
No, but we will be talking about Vanilla Ice.
But we will. And we'll talk a little bit about Karate Kid music as well.
Yeah.
All right. Now, before we still have some beer left. Last time, and we did a little bit of fact check, we started talking about Glenn Medeiros a little bit. I wanted to bring it back, close it out with some Glenn Medeiros. So not
okay.
We did mention and we did share the cover that he did, and we played the George Benson. But on the last episode, we also talked about this duet or this collaboration that he had with Bobby Brown.
Mm-hmm.
You said you don't remember that song. It was a number one song. It was a Billboard number one song. So
I might have known it. I might have known the song. I just didn't
know that it was
Glenn
Medeiros. So I did some research. We also, so another fact check. We said, I think he's something with St. Louis. He is still at St. Louis. 2015, Medeiros was appointed principal of St. Louis. And he is now the CEO and has been the CEO since 2017. So he's still affiliated with St. Louis School. After his music career, got his teaching credentials, was very passionate about education. As an educator myself, I appreciate that. I appreciate, everyone that gives back to the education community. And so, he's a big part of the education community. I have friends over at the Hawaii Association of Independent Schools and know him probably a lot better than I know him. But maybe after hearing this podcast, they'll introduce him and let him know and say, hey, you got to listen to this.
We got a spot right here for him.
they're
right where Cousin Keith was sitting.
But some background. He was born on Kauai, raised in Levi, which my friend is also from that area Love Kauai, one of our favorite places to visit. He has 2 kids. You know, we did say that his daughter was on American Idol.
Yeah.
Her name is Lyric. The son's name is Cord. Bro, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Great names. Yeah.
If you're going to have the #1 Billboard song and be popular, and you are a bit of an icon in the music industry, at least it's not at least, but especially here in Hawaii. And if I'm gonna name my kids Cord and Lyric,
yep,
bro, genius. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up, going back to the, all right, so we shared this, the first slide, the George Benson, Nothing's Gonna Change My Love for You. He did a good job of, you know, I mean, this song made Glenn Medeiros popular, probably made George Benson some money as well. But it was his like internationally most popular song. But as I mentioned, there was a song that he did with Bobby Brown, featuring Bobby, not even like Bobby Brown featuring Glenn Medeiros.
Yes, Glenn Medeiros.
This is Glenn Medeiros.
I want to say, if I remember correctly, Babyface had something to do with Glenn Medeiros when he first went over to LA.
Could be. Fact check got
that.
It.
Yep.
Writing it down. All right, so let's hear a little Glenn Medeiros with Bobby Brown
featuring.
Quick, fast, in a hurry, 'cause I won't buckle. The girl's jazzy, but she's nothing but a struggle. Give everything you have. Does this make you sad? What you really wants to do is tell her friends, spit it again.
I mean, this song was
the 80s.
An 80s Bobby. It sounds like a Bobby Brown song. Like if My Prerogative made it, the girl ain't worth it. I mean, this is
like P. Diddy putting his voice onto somebody else's album.
Wait.
Or
let's
like
not bring P. Diddy into Glenn Medeiros.
Well, maybe not P. Diddy, like Kanye. Or I mean, like these producers that come out and then they try and put their voice onto somebody else's song, and then now all of a sudden they're an artist. But
this is so. I did listen to a few other songs from this album. They're all very similar, like
80s pop
music,
dance music.
Now, outside of this, he also had, speaking of Karate Kid, I want to bring it back to Karate Kid 3.
Yeah, I saw that too.
He had a song with the Jets. So I think this one might have been the Jets
featuring Glenn Medeiros.
But it was in Karate Kid 3. So I think I also have Glenn Medeiros and the Jets, Under Any Moon. Take a listen. Now this doesn't sound like Madonna. Or the Jets.
So Karate Kid 3, the whole concept was him coming back, and he was gonna be like fighting in the All Valley tournament again. And Mr. Miyagi wouldn't train him, so he went and
that was the one.
That was the one that they brought. Kreese had his war buddy, and he was actually the money behind Cobra Kai, and so that guy brought in somebody else to fight against the bad boy to fight against Daniel. But
and go watch Cobra Kai if you want to see that full circle.
There was a scene where they're at like a nightclub or something, and I picture this song was probably used at that nightclub when somebody like did something to the girl, his friend. It wasn't even a love interest at the time. It was just like his friend. And then Daniel went and punched the guy in the face. But I mean, like that Karate Kid 3 was probably like
The worst.
yeah. Of the three with Daniel, because
yes.
the fourth one, the next Karate Kid, was with Hilary Swank, and
Different,
that was
yeah.
almost like TV worthy.
That was
Like
not,
it was like
not
made for
almost, yeah,
TV.
that was
But
still
it's
still
still, I
watchable,
mean, yeah.
and like they had the formula, right?
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
you make 4 movies, you have a formula that works enough to make 4 movies.
Yeah.
Um,
If you can take a Chinese guy and make a movie in China teaching somebody kung fu
and call it
and
karate,
still call it Karate Kid, then you got the right formula
Yes,
already.
That is true. But yeah, the Cobra Kai series will bring back all the way. Not so much Karate Kid 4 though, right? I mean, like the Hilary
I don't think
Swank
they
part,
talk about, because Hilary Swank,
I don't think
What?
so.
was Miyagi even in that? He wasn't even in that, was he?
He's barely in 3. I mean,
Yeah. That's the sweep the leg.
so that being said, the Karate Kid formula still works. It works with
Yeah.
Cobra Kai.
Training montage, unorthodox training technique.
It's kind of like
That's
Rocky. I guess
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's like Rocky.
Yeah.
Yeah, we use the same. And there's been like how many Rockies? We're gonna fact check that. 5, at least 5. I know at least 5.
Oh, hang on. Now.
But then if we're gonna go
Then you're gonna,
like
Creed.
there's
So
I think
there's-
3 Creeds.
There's actually 6 Rockies, because you got the 5 Rockies and then Rocky Balboa.
Okay.
And then you go into the Creeds.
And then 3 Creeds,
Yeah.
maybe. That's a lot of good formulas.
But yeah, the fact, I mean, even that, the fifth Rocky was a stretch. He wasn't even, he was like the trainer.
That
at
was
the point.
Tommy Gunn.
Tommy Gunn.
Tommy, yeah. All right. One more song that I found, his on the Billboard charts, or like one of the higher. I think this one, I forget what number it got to, but it was another collaboration with Ray Parker Jr. All I'm Missing Is You. Have a listen.
I got these friends, they walk around so conceited.
Same song.
Dragging to the end, like a car encloses all that's needed. What about the simple part? The affair of the heart. Without love.
All right, but I give him credit. I mean, these are very like I don't know what's the word, like quaffable for drinking beer. Very listenable music.
Check if I got a lot of sediment in the bottom of mine.
Let's see.
You're watching your last sip.
Mm.
You see it? I had the same thing.
All right, we're gonna.
I was like, there's a little mustard squirt.
That's pretty good. Well, that is the end of our beer. That means
It's the end of episode
it
16.
must be the end of episode 16. So join us next time for the Karate Kid,
Yep.
and also a little bit of Vanilla Ice.
Yep. Thanks again to Chase. Thank you to Ashley, Haley's best friend. And we'll see you guys next time.
All right, collaborate and listen in the books.
All right.
Cheers, everyone.